Hello, everyone. Welcome to Football Worldwide, wherever you are in the world. A big show today. Musical chairs at the top, also at the bottom. Newcastle first win. Man City now they're leading the league. Chelsea are dropping, and we have the Chelsea fan here. He's not happy, but he has to get past this. I have a new guest for me. He's not a guest actually. He's a host. You have seen him on the channel everywhere. Anthony, my friend, my co-host before. How are you today?
It's very good. It's a good day to be here. Hello to Jackson, Kaeman, and thanks for inviting me on, Mo. Let's talk some Premier League. I'm excited.
Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like this video or rate us on any audio platform you get your podcasts on. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, subscribe to our channel to catch up with the packed content we have for you for all the five leagues and Champions League as well. Hey, guys, this is big. Chelsea losing to West Ham. I'm going to start there, and I'm going to start with Jackson right away. Jackson, did Chelsea deserve
Oh, that,
anything out of this game?
um, for to be honest, I think a loss was hard because when I was watching, I'm like, West Ham didn't really do anything too special for me. I think it was more so kind of like defense from Chelsea. I was the Bowen goal was very nice. Also, you can't tell me that was a shot. That was not an intended shot. I don't care what anyone tells me. That was a shanked cross. Absolutely. But I mean, just to be honest, like I said, it was kind of disappointing from Chelsea, for me to be honest, because I think last week we were talking about how title winning sides, they'll have tough matches. A couple bad goals go in, but they'll find the way to win, scrape out the 3 points. I just didn't really see that coming from Chelsea. So it was a disappointing result. I'm not throwing it away right now. We just had a couple unfortunate results recently, but obviously, hopefully, Tuchel can go in there, change something around, and get some more wins. But that was just a disappointing game for me.
The half Italian or the full Italian, Anthony, I'm going to ask you about the individual mistake that happened from Jorginho. I know you are one of the people that took it to Twitter that think that Jorginho should win Ballon d'Or and all that talk that you had. And to me, he should not be winning Ballon d'Or, maybe because he is the only player that won Champions League and the Euros in 2021. He should be in the contention to win it, but he shouldn't be winning it, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. Man United game. I know you're a Man United fan. And this game too, I think they are very naive mistakes from him. That back pass, even Thomas Tuchel called him out after the game, said that that was a very bad decision. And trying to stop the ball when you're last man against Man United, a very high ball, instead of clearing it. Tell me, where did it go wrong for Jorginho? Why these mistakes are happening? Is it a mental thing, or are we putting too much on a player that actually is good, but he's not a superstar? Where has it gone wrong?
I made these comments about Jorginho deserving the Ballon d'Or before he missed the first penalty kick against Switzerland. And being a huge Azzurri fan, you can't change my mind quicker than not the second one, but the first one. And then you start to backtrack and realize, hold on, you missed the kick in the final as well. We remember that now. I remember the trophy lift, but now I'm starting to remember you missing that one as well. And at the end of the day, Jorginho was my default choice because when you win those sort of accolades, it kind of puts you in that default setting. And I thought that they'd sort of bucked a trend by giving it to Luka Modric a couple of years before. I definitely wouldn't say that Messi did not deserve to win the Ballon d'Or. I mean, he breaks his international trophy duck and he's still got those amazing statistics. Me personally, I would give it to Lewandowski. I think he's outscored Messi 16-3 goals this season, which is just ridiculous in its own sense. But to go back to your next point that you made, where did it go wrong for him? I think you actually touched on it really well, that there's still a level mentally that this guy needs to reach. We know, I know personally where he's come from in Serie A, and just breaking out of Napoli and going to Chelsea. I remember when he first went there was like this really awesome, heartwarming video that he and his mother filmed in the Chelsea store of his name being printed on the back of the jersey and hung up. It was like, wow, we've really made it. Like, we've really, really made it. And I think he's been a great signing. I've always been a huge fan of Jorginho, but you win something like a Euro and a Champions League, it's so easy to get complacent. As human beings, we're very complacent human beings. But no matter how elite you are as an athlete, psychologically, this will be a reality check for him. I think he turns it around throughout the season as he goes along. but definitely a sign for not only club and country that he needs to play better. Simple, because Chelsea is a club that will just pick you up and throw you out like trash. Sorry, Jackson. I'm sure you'll agree to a degree.
I kind of have to agree. Yeah.
I just wanted to mention something quickly. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, was it a bad idea that Jorginho had with the pass back? Yeah, but like Mendy should do better. He should just get rid of the ball and not try to beat Bowen in a foot race. And does Bowen do great? Absolutely. I mean, he was picking everything apart. That dude's a monster with his high pressures, and he's vicious and capitalized. I mean, he scores, he gets a pen. Like, give that guy some credit. But yeah, no, I mean, Jorginho's done this before. It's tough to see that he's not learning from it.
That's what I was going to say. It's like sometimes with Jorginho. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not too quick to jump on Jorginho right now. I'm not too worried because kind of like Kaeman said, and Anthony kind of touched on it too, is like he gets complacent sometimes. I think maybe he just loses focus and he'll have a couple bad giveaways a season that do lead sometimes to goals. Unfortunately, I think that's just what you get with Jorginho. I obviously like what he has to offer more than his mistakes, but yeah, 2 games back to back is really tough. Obviously, that's why people are talking about it a lot, but I don't think it's anything to raise too much concern.
I'm gonna come back to Chelsea, but I want to ask Kaeman, since he is the Arsenal guy here. Kaeman, is West Ham still the best team in London?
Oh man, that was accusatory from you. No, I do have to say. I mean, I think Chelsea probably overall is the better team. I mean, they got more depth, right? And I think just they're really vicious in how they play. I think that being said, I think Tottenham on a good day can beat every single team in this league. West Ham. West Ham can beat every single team in this league. Yeah, Tottenham can't. I mean, maybe Conte will make them better, but no, West Ham can really, like, they're phenomenal. Their way that they are able to basically sit back and defend and then play these counterattacks and just switch on a dime and do a high press. Like, they're so versatile in how they change their formations too. I mean, they were like playing a back 3 in that game. You know what I mean? Like, they can do anything. The only thing that's the problem with West Ham is that they are not super deep roster-wise, right? Like, if you're not being able to play Bowen or your 2 central midfielders that you have with the likes of Declan Rice, I mean, like you're struggling. Who's going to replace Antonio? You know what I mean? So I think that's not a problem that Chelsea doesn't have. Like, they've been playing without Lukaku and doing very well lately.
So West Ham are now going to be without Zuma and without Ogbonna. So they are down to 2 senior center backs having to play Europa League in the next game and Premier League as well. We don't know yet when will Zuma come back, or Ogbonna, I think, I'm not sure. It's going to be next month or something. But this is damning because these were the 2 starting center backs for them. And this is what people touched on before, the depth of the squad. And having only 4 senior center backs does not help. I'm going to go back to Chelsea. Jackson, can you tell me what do Chelsea do in games? We know that Liverpool, the press, the playing from the wings, and we know Man City, the position and the crosses. What is Chelsea? When you watch Chelsea, what do you expect before going to the game? Are you expecting ball position, counterattacks, crosses? This is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. So for me, one of the reasons why I thought the game was so disappointing is because right now, when you think of Chelsea, one of the first things that comes to mind is just defense, and there's a lot of clean sheets that don't really let in goals. So when I am getting ready for a Chelsea game, I know that most of the time they're going to be very defensively sound. And I also really like their transition from when they win the ball on defense going into offense. I think the wing back system is really good for that, getting player field. You can switch the ball really well too, with just how the links work out. That's usually what I was looking forward to. And obviously, like I said, there was just a bunch of defensive mistakes. It honestly, at some point, it could have been worse if it wasn't for Thiago Silva back there, who's been an absolute masterclass this
yeah, dude, that is a monster.
Yeah. So, but yeah, just to answer your question, that's what I like. Defensive organization and transition from defense to offense. That's what I've really liked. And obviously just getting crosses into the box from the wing backs. That's given us a lot of success this year.
if they are playing crosses, Lukaku was fit, Anthony, and I know you are similar to me, an Inter supporter. We saw the success that you can have with someone like Lukaku on your team if you depend on him, if you give him the ball, if you build something around the guy. Why do you think he has not scored since September, even though he missed about 4 games? But Chelsea has played 15 games this season. Why Thomas Tuchel cannot figure out how to use him? Do you have an answer for this? Or do you think it was the wrong striker for the system?
I don't think it's that Tuchel can't figure out how to use him. I think it's that he doesn't really want to use him in that way because he's got the personnel to make a different system work. Like Lukaku is so much better with his back to goal. And it's just a fine example of modern football proving once again it's so much more important to be a part of a team than to think you're more of an individual. You're going from playing with your back to goal for 2 straight years under Antonio Conte to having to turn around and play on the front foot under Thomas Tuchel. It was never going to be that easy. And the goals that he has scored have not been in transition play or him dribbling the ball. He has not scored any goals for Chelsea the way he has for Inter. It's been big man in the box, scrappy sort of goals for Big Rom. Chelsea's just got a team full of incredible ball carriers or, players with the ball at their feet. Mason Mount, Pulisic, Conte, Havertz, Jorginho, Ziyech, whoever's there is able to carry the ball forward and transition in a more free-flowing way. Something that Romelu Lukaku has proved that he has struggled in the Premier League when he is in this more not senior phase of his career, but he's not the lanky, slim, fast sort of player that he was at West Brom or Everton, is he? He's the stocky, strong bully that he was at Manchester United, and then confirmed it with that Inter. His style of play has had to switch altogether, and mentally, although he can be strong at times, it's very easy for things to get to Romelu, and he's gone from being known as the king of a place in Milan to being on the back end in a city like London, where it's very easy to forget about people, and he's going to have to work very, very hard to come back from this and not just score goals, but score good goals, score consequential goals, goals that change the scoreline, a winner, do something, prove that you're actually worth it. Because at the end of the day, it is easy to forget about players, but it's harder to forget when you slap a triple-digit million price tag on them.
We have to move on from the Chelsea because they are third now, and there is another king in town, which is Man City. Kaeman, Man City, top of the league, but top of the league in style. I watched the game against Watford, and to be honest, it was a total domination from the first minute. They only had like lapses. I wouldn't call them lapses. I would call them a rest. They took like 2-3 minutes of a rest, and then Watford tried. I know they scored at the end to make it 3-1, but Man City were always in control. And we talked about this before. The only team in the Premier League that, as a fan, you go to their games and you have a 90% chance of winning is Man City. To be honest, this is how I feel all the time. You remember Barcelona with Guardiola, with Messi and this team? The fans were always chill. Their fans were always sure that we're going to win this game unless something dramatic happens. Like, it's not our day completely. Man City, absolutely dominant in every single game they play, even against the big teams, against Liverpool. We remember what happened against Chelsea. We remember what happened against these teams. Do you think now Guardiola put his foot down and this is the favorites for the title? Everybody else are going to try to challenge, but this is the team that most likely will win it?
Yeah, I think Man City is the best team in the league. I don't even really think it's like super close. I think Liverpool can take them on a good day. I think Liverpool's kind of always been Man City's kryptonite. That being said, I think Chelsea has a good team to try to like win a tournament. I mean, that's why they're really good with Champions League. But in terms of like league play, no one plays the league like Man City does, and their ability to just completely dominate these lower ends of the table teams is just something unmatched by every other team. I mean, you could argue Liverpool maybe does it to a similar aspect with how many goals they've been scoring. It's like 30 something like this season already, which is ridiculous. But Man City has just systematically been able to destroy these lower end teams over and over again. I mean, you look at the performance, it was just completely dominated. That Bernardo Silva second goal, it's one of the dirtiest goals I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? But it's one of those things, like, they don't even have a proper striker in their lineup right now. They're clearly dominating the league. And sure, Bernardo Silva gets a screamer, but not all of their goals have to be like that. They just destroy teams. I mean, like, they don't have to have the fanciest goal every single week. I mean, you look like we haven't even talked about like Kevin De Bruyne this season, and they're still just
The
dominant.
guy doesn't even start. The guy
That's what
doesn't
I'm-
even start,
that's what
even
I'm
though he
saying.
was fit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that's how ahead they are. Like Kevin De Bruyne is not even starting for them. You know what I mean? And
That's
there's no other team like that. Like, and Liverpool is outperforming their XG because Mohamed Salah is having the beginning of the season of his life. And can he continue doing that? Maybe, but the Man City, you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? I don't. What do you think? Do you think it's Liverpool? Do you think it's Man City?
Based on what I see, I think it's okay for sure. I'm watching the game. They walk the ball into the goal, like away. Like other teams struggle against this. Like they really walk, like they attack like somehow in a way that you think, how are you making these teams that sit back defensively, but then you walk the ball inside the net? Like the Sterling goal. It was very easy. 1, 2, 3 passes, boom, far cross, far post cross, gone. It's a goal. And they do it every game and nobody's able to stop it. It's ridiculous how Guardiola, people still talk about Guardiola. What's Guardiola? The guy is a genius. The guy's is, you watch his game every time, but you still can't stop him.
Yeah.
And as you said, Kaeman, in a tournament is different. A manager playing in the league proves that the guy set up his team every week. In a tournament, it depends on a lot of luck. There's one game, but in a league, there's no luck here. I'm playing 38 games. I have to be good in 38 games.
Yeah,
I'll get a luck in a game or two. I'm not going to get a luck in 38 games.
Right.
If I'm not dominant, it doesn't work. But Man United fan, Anthony, Man City, how big is the gap between both? And is there any way it can be closed in the next 2-3 years?
No way. The gap is huge. It's huge on a professional level, on a board level, even on a funding level at the moment. COVID really burst a bubble for a lot of clubs, and Man United are really, really lucky because even a club like Barcelona can't protect its image at the moment. That's how in dire straits they are. And I tell you right now, Man United's on the cusp of becoming that. They probably won't, just because of their fan base in England is just so phenomenally extended. It's a joke. They'll never go under for it. But the gap is huge, don't get me wrong. And the level of depth they have, I don't need to say it any better. You guys just said Kevin De Bruyne is not starting for this side. Not only do they not need to score fancy goals, they score every kind of goal. It's almost like in the locker room, they've got a checklist off of every sort of kind of goal they want to score throughout the season. They're the perfect side that encompasses the training pitch onto the gaming pitch. I can't really say anything else about it, man. All you said, their fans are chill, man. Their fans are always chill. They've been chill if they're at the stadium or not watching. They're just a chill bunch of fans, man, altogether. So kudos to them there. The question's going to be asked soon, how long Pep is going to stay. And I'm really interested to see how the club transitions post-Guardiola. I think they'll be fine, providing they make the right decision, the right replacement decision.
Jackson, before we move on to Liverpool, I need Watford. They are very brave in their game. If they try to attack, they don't sit back against anybody. That's why they got whooped by Liverpool 5, the first game of Ranieri. But also they try to play in the front foot. Is this team can Ranieri save this team from relegation now, seeing that Newcastle in January might be able to secure a couple of good signings? Is Watford that kind of team and has the good squad that they can be safe in the Premier League this year?
I think so. I would like to think that this year they're going to stay in the Premier League just because some of their players up top are very good, very creative players who will definitely put up goals. For me, though, I think kind of like you said, they like to go at teams. So if they're going to do that, you have to have like a good, solid foundation in the midfield and defenders who are able to stop the counterattack, or else you're just going to get opened up like, they did against Liverpool. So if they can maybe get a good signing or just have some more organization there to help stifle those counters, I think they'll stay in the league this year.
I'm going to move to Liverpool, and I'm going to start with Jackson here. It's a controlled ball position from Liverpool. Controlled the whole game. There was no scares in the back. Couple of chances for for Wolves, but also they were able to stop Adama Traore every time the guy got on the ball and tried to run. And it was actually very funny during that game. If you watch the game, every time he tried to run, they fouled him and got a card, and everybody accepted that. Like at some point, even the Wolves manager were like fine with it. It's like fine. We'll see how many players can get cards in this game against Adama Traore. But
Yeah.
Jota's miss in the second half, how good was that from Connor Cody?
I don't know if
I
that
think
was
the
like
word
good
you're
from
looking
Connor
for is
Cody.
brave. Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is brave.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, great. Like, well on him for being in that position, but like Jota just, hit it right at him. You know what I mean? Like he kind of just, Cody's like, okay, I'm going to run to one spot in the goal and hope the ball comes directly at me, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So well on him there. But like, I mean, I don't know. I think Jota's got to be scoring that 10 times out of 10. But
So this is, yeah, go ahead.
oh no, sorry. You
No,
guys.
I was just saying these are the kind of games that shows the difference between Man City and Liverpool. Liverpool struggled through this game to create chances. They did not create a lot of chances. This chance that Jota missed that people talk about was actually a mistake from Size before that. It was not created from the run of play and the past couple of passes. They did not create a lot of chances this game. Actually, Wolves deserved something out of this game, and it was
Agree.
It was just Origi stuff at the end of the game. Origi does the Origi thing, like what he did against Everton. You remember that? It's just Origi does his thing. And Salah, of course, that control was brilliant. But that's the difference between Liverpool and Man City. And this is why I think Liverpool are going to challenge for I said that last podcast, and I said that Liverpool are actually outplaying everybody, but not like this. When they dropped against West Ham, and they were lost against West Ham, and now against Wolves, they did not have the best game. So tell me, what are the chances for Liverpool, Jackson, to win the? What do they need to do? What do they need to do?
I don't think I can really say anything about what Liverpool needs to do. Like you said, they're absolutely fantastic. They're flying right now. I would still agree with you guys. I think City are favorites for the league, but Liverpool's definitely going to give them a run for their money. I don't really see them slowing down really anytime soon. Either with Chelsea, like I still think it's going to be a 3-horse race. I do think City are the favorites, but honestly, just watching Liverpool right now, maybe after that last game, maybe some shooting practice from some of the players, but other than that, I don't think really much can be said about what they need to do.
Kaeman, tell me a little bit about that control from Salah on the right and that long ball and Van Dijk. And I want to ask you this because there was a kind of a discussion about who's having a better season. Is it Van Dijk? I know this will sound absurd to some of you, but this actually is a conversation that some Arsenal fans are having between Van Dijk and Gabriel. So Van Dijk passed the ball to Salah. Salah controls brilliant. Origi turns goal. That goal started from Van Dijk, actually, in the back. So Gabriel versus Van Dijk, who's having a better season for you?
Oh, it's Van Dijk. I mean, not to take anything away from Gabriel. I mean, he's been playing phenomenal. Arguably one of our best, if not the best players on the field, consistently, right? That dude's amazing. That being said, you look at Liverpool and how awful they were last year defensively in shambles when Van Dijk wasn't there. And you look at him this year, this dude has not lost at home since he's been at the club. The dude's a monster. His creative long passes are out of this world. Some of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. And defensively, he shores them up, right? So he provides so much to Liverpool, both sides, that you just can't compare. I mean, I don't even think Ruben Diaz is performing at the level that Virgil van Dijk is performing at right now, right? And that being said, Gabriel's playing phenomenally. There was a 10-game unbeaten streak, and largely that was because Arsenal's playing very well defensively, and it's because of how well he's doing. What he brings, good offensively with how he breaks lines, great defensively. I mean, everyone's seen it. But the difference is that he's not playing that 70-yard pass to on a dime to the winger. You know what I mean? And he's a phenomenal player. I love him to death. Oh my God, badass on and off the field, freaking fighting off a robber with his bare hands. You know what I mean? But he's a monster. But it's Van Dijk, you know. That's
Van
where I'm
Dijk.
with it. Yeah, I mean, I think you have an opinion as well, but that's where I stand on it.
He's on the wheel. He's on the wheel and he's winning. He started flying and he's transforming players. And I know my guy Anthony is laughing and he's he's smiling. He's happy. Anthony, he won his first game. Rangnick. I'm gonna ask you a straight question. Did you see anything new today?
Yeah, I saw the initial flair and confidence of change, the aura of change that comes with your first game under any manager, whether it's Ralph, whether it's Ollie, whether it's anyone. The aura is there. Obviously, there was more front foot in the pressing because that's his philosophy. It'd be really backwards to not see anything like that. You'd ask, what's he been doing since he'd been at the club? Obviously, it's going to take a lot of these players time to adapt to such a systematic background where the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer chalkboard on the other side of the dressing room just says, we are united, believe in yourself, score some goals, all that real fancy tactical stuff that Ole was known for. It was good to see some players just play with more confidence and speak to each other a lot more on the pitch. I think there'll be a lot more rotation than we saw under Ole from going forward from this particular manager. A sort of manager like that who plays very systematically knows that if you have the chess pieces in the right positions, you don't have to necessarily rely on individual brilliance as much as you would on your tactical system, which is what Manchester United has been for the last 2 years, individual brilliance FC under Ole. We're just relying, how many more times can you get lucky? There is no team like this in European football that can play that poorly and then just pull it out of their cooler, for lack of a better term. And I expect us to just be more disciplined, attacking, defensive altogether. It'll come in time. I think we got a little lucky with Crystal Palace missed about 3 minutes before Fred actually scored the goal. I've drawn a blank. I'm not too sure who it was. Was it Ayew? I'm not too sure who it was.
Jordan Ayew, that ball was, yes.
He missed there. He probably should have buried that. But in the end, we've won it. 3 points moving forward. And I'm really curious to hear what the rest of you have to say about Manchester United going forward, to be honest.
No, I was really impressed with Man United this game. Oh, and
you did? Go ahead, Kaeman. I want to ask you something. How many times we have seen this Michael Carrick? Like normally when you come to a team that is destroyed, like Antonio Conte, like Dean Smith, like Eddie Howe, like Ranieri. But Ralph Rangnick came to a team that is already on the front foot. They won against Arsenal. They tied Chelsea. They came first in their group stage, even with a game in hand. How easy it is for him when he comes to a team that is already, he set up the foundation for him, Michael Carrick, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it almost, I don't even know if it's like necessarily a tactical change. I mean, obviously you saw a little bit of a tactical shift. That being said, it just seems like there's a mentality shift that's happened for Manchester United. I mean, you look at the way that they're like actually high pressing. I think what happens whenever you get a new manager and there's almost like this belief that happens, and I think there was just a lack of belief in Ole in the dressing room, and you kind of saw that with the players, right? Like they just didn't seem to really be backing like one individual target or goal. But now you see like Manchester United was flying. Like you have Ronaldo freaking high pressing. Like in the Arsenal game, I was like, what am I watching? You know what I mean? And it's working to their great benefit. I think Fred's been an agent of chaos. I don't understand. This dude will like turn over the ball right outside his 18-yard box, but then he's scoring with his weak foot at the top of the box. Like one of the best goals I saw this weekend.
Bizarre.
Yeah. So, but like I think what I saw one big shift is that Carrick is allowing Fred to roam a lot more. And he's fine with him making these mistakes every once in a while. But what you see is that Manchester United, a lot of the time, they end up with like one more person in attack. And he makes these like absurd runs into the box that just make no sense from his position. But yeah, no, I mean, but like it confuses teams. But I think when you have someone with that much energy who can go box to box, it really supports your more creative players up front. Manchester United, I mean, y'all have an incredibly stacked attacking line. Yep. And when you have someone who can support that, then you just get to essentially make that look even stronger. But I mean, I'm curious what you think as the Manchester United fan. Like, do you think Fred is like having this renaissance in the past couple of games, or do you think we need to change him out for Van de Beek?
I think they need Van de Beek needs to get more minutes, that's for sure. Or just for his own career sake, he needs to go somewhere else. Fred, I've always been a fan of obviously the way he plays because he's got that Brazilian touch, that Joga Bonito touch. But tactically, as he could be a little ill-disciplined, as you said, he can make some runs, not only in attack, in defense as well. And when he doesn't commit to the challenge defensively due to his actual sheer body size, he can get knocked off, especially when there's momentum in the attacking player's favor. If there's momentum and they're running foot for foot, Fred gets knocked off the challenge straight away. It's almost hard to forget, or easy to forget, that Paul Pogba is nowhere near this starting side. And I think most Manchester United fans have come to terms with the fact that he's probably moving on for free. Going forward, it'll be how well Fred plays and how well Donny plays before January, before a crunch decision is made for Donny. And if Donny is moved on, I guess the message is that Fred will continue to get consistent game time going forward, and maybe somebody else is coming in. I really don't know. This transfer window is going to be a little bit weird, I think, for a lot of teams. It's going to feel like it sort of exists, but it doesn't. But, without sidetracking, I think, as you said, Kaeman, like, this team is stacked. This is spoiled, man. You can't walk into a better looking side. Man United has been, in my opinion, on paper, almost as good as any other side in the Premier League, almost every step of the way. And that's what I mean. This brand image has saved this club from going literally tits up, man. It could have been a lot worse than what it is. So individual brilliance FC has kept us from sinking. Hopefully, tactically, they can move forward in a much better way.
The one that impressed me today is Diego Dalot, to be honest. He was absolutely phenomenal today. Like Jackson, actually also Alex Telles. And do you think Wan-Bissaka comes back and takes the position, or do you think you keep Diego Dalot there?
I actually think he's in a bit of trouble. Jackson, if you can jump in and talk about that a bit more, go for it. I could see you were, but I think Bissaka's in a lot of trouble, man, because he's not the best right wing back or right back in the league.
I'm not saying he's the best, but I am a huge Wan-Bissaka fan. I think
I've seen the poster in his room. Yeah.
Okay, but I think Wan-Bissaka's one-on-one defending skills are almost second to none. He is a little lacking going forward. Sometimes he has some stray passes and some loose touches that can turn over the ball. But I think he's great, and I think he should easily get his spot back. And then just going off what you guys said before, if I was a Man U fan, I think I'd be very happy about Rangnick coming in, because he said his number one priority is defense and keeping the clean sheet. Because in his post-match interview the other day, he just said, we want to keep the clean sheet, because if we keep the clean sheet, then we at least have 1 point. And I think that's what Man U needs, because like you said, their attack is absolutely stacked. So if you can just prioritize the defense, get your defense organized so that you're not conceding as many goals and you're able to play out of the back a little better, the attackers that you have on the field should produce something. So I think if you can, just stop the blood flow, conceding all those goals, they'll be good.
I'm gonna ask all of you what's the target this year, Anthony? Is it top 4, or is it just Europa League, or what's the target?
You're Man United, man. It has to be something at least respectable. You don't aim for Europa League unless the mathematics tells you need to aim for the Europa League. So it's top 4. You can say that, in theory, you still want to challenge for the league because we're not even halfway through the season. But in practicality, that's not going to happen. This is a 3-way race, potentially a 4th-way race, which we might even touch on again in this episode in the next topic. But Manchester United, to me, is not a title-winning side. They could potentially set themselves up to challenge for a title next season. But I see this team still dropping more points than Manchester City or Liverpool and Chelsea. That's the way I'm going to have to look at it. I think a lot of improvement is there. Top 4 will simply have to be the goal, but it's a lot easier said than done, because I think 3 of those 4 positions are almost locked in. I'll be very, very surprised if one of City, Liverpool, or Chelsea miss out on a top 4 position this season. So let's just go gung-ho for that 4th spot, I guess, and build on that.
Okay.
I do want to add one more thing before we move.
Yes.
Just talking about the outside backs. Seeing Luke Shaw dropped has been incredible for y'all. I think Telles has done so well defensively. You just have a more versatile player there. And I think, dropping Wan-Bissaka on the right, I think what you have now, at least on your right side, you have tactical options. You know what I mean? Wan-Bissaka, if you need to sit back against a Man City, you want Wan-Bissaka in there every single time, because Diallo's not the best defender in the world. I think he gets crushed, especially when you put an overload. but he is so much better offensively than Wan-Bissaka. And I think that's a good problem to have. I mean, you look at teams like Man City, they love those problems. You know what I mean? Like deciding who you're going to play on a given day is a luxury that the top teams have because they have depth. And growing that in what's been Man United's like weakest area, your guys' defense, is so good for y'all.
One of my favorite managers of all time is Antonio Conte. Just not. But by the way, I actually thought Antonio Conte is one of the best managers in the world, even before he comes to Inter and win the league and does all the wonders with people, because the way he transformed Chelsea and the way he made Victor Moses a top player and the way he made Alonso one of the best wing backs in the world, he actually transforms players. It's actually absurd for people to ask, can they make top four? Because actually on paper now, they are the fourth team if they win the game in hand. They are actually the fourth in the league if they win the game in hand, which is against Burnley, one of the teams that only collected 9 points. So you would think that it will be able to win it after crushing Norwich today, 3-0. Spurs today, they actually, it's kind of strange because against Norwich City at home and you give up possession, but also they are ruthless going on the counter. Lucas Moura had his brilliant game, and this is what Antonio Conte gives you. Jackson, Spurs, Antonio Conte, you are a Chelsea supporter. I know you like Antonio Conte as a coach because he transformed your team 5 seasons ago. Can he take the Spurs team to the next level? And is he a lot of signings away from his perfect team?
I think he definitely can. I don't think it's going to be instant because even he said it that the club's, not in the best position. He definitely has his work cut out for him. And so, managers, if you give him a little bit of time, can completely transform a club. And like you said, get great use out of certain players. But I think that definitely takes time. I think if he was able to make top 4 this season, that would be an incredible feat. I'm sure that he's going to want to get a couple more players to, change around the side a little bit, just maybe get his tactics like a little more cemented in there. But I think, if he can do that, I'm interested to see what he could do with Tottenham, to be honest. But I know it's not just going to be like overnight. Even he said he needs some time there.
Kaeman, are you as an Arsenal fan a little bit scared of Antonio Conte being the manager of Spurs, since they are actually the ones with West Ham competing with you, along with Manchester United, on the top, the fourth position in the league?
I mean, I think, it's hard to deny what Conte brings. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's changed the team around. And even if we're not even talking tactically, you can just see there's so much more belief there. That was one of the biggest problems with Nuno, is take away any tactical decisions. Like, nobody, it's like Ronaldo being coached by like Wayne Rooney or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's hard for you to get behind this coach when your players are bigger than the coach itself. You know what I mean? And to me, like, I saw that being troublesome, but Conte knows how to deal with these like big stars, like your Harry Kanes and your Sons and stuff like that. So he knows how to handle these type of players, and they've been doing well for it. And he's fine with giving up a bit of possession to have what I think Tottenham has been for the past few years, is a really phenomenal counter-attacking side. Right, whenever they buy into that play style, they do incredible. That's why I thought Nuno was going to be a good fit, because he played that really well at Wolves, and then he comes to Tottenham and they didn't do that at all. So I think, but Conte, in a way that Tuchel is, he's good at seeing what the personnel is and building around that and being able to accomplish something. So I think he definitely puts him in a good shout for top 4. I think it's really anyone's grab, I think, between Arsenal, Man U, Tottenham, and West Ham. I think it's like a really good battle between those teams, and it's exciting. I wish the battle for winning the league was as exciting as that.
Anthony, tell us a little bit what Antonio Conte can give the fans. What is he can give Spurs fans?
He can guarantee the fans that every player on that pitch actually, gets off their backside and puts an extra 25 to 35% in. And that's what you're going to see. You already saw it in Lucas Moura. You're seeing it in the defense. You're seeing it in Son. I mean, Son was always amazing no matter who, but Son just looks really happy as well. I dare say, this team under Conte, I'm really hoping that he does well. After he won the 19th Scudetto for Inter, he's forever going to be one of us in my books, and he'll always have my backing as a manager that in the league with nothing else to focus on. This guy doesn't care about the Conference League. It didn't matter who on paper they lost to. They could have lost to the Tottenham youth side on the night. Antonio Conte would not have known the difference of the team that they were playing against because his goal is to get into the top four. It's not even a far cry to say that Conte's in the dressing room telling these players that they can win the league. They're only 3 games behind to win the league. Even if he believes that it doesn't believe in the group of players that they can win the league himself, that's what he's going to do. He's going to give you that belief. What he did to those Inter players and the way he leveled up, I could go on about it for hours, but that Inter team was a good group of players. Antonio Conte brought and turned them into champions, world class. You're talking Barellas, your Bastonis, your Lukaku's and Lautaro Martinez. Antonio Conte knows how to get his team at least playing to their respectable objective level where they need to be. And that's what you'll see from Tottenham. A lot more streaks, less slip-ups. For me, they're the favorite to come forth.
I do have to say, I think in a game like the one we had today against Norwich, your Harry Kanes have to be looking a little bit better. I think he's had a real big slip. And I think Tottenham's success at competing for higher spots is like super fundamentally dependent on him actually performing. He just hasn't been.
Yep.
We might see Lukaku in Tottenham soon if he doesn't get minutes.
I swear that's very probable. It's probable, man. And then he'll come out and say that it was his childhood dream to be there as well.
Can we guys imagine this?
Jackson's like, wait a minute.
No, I don't want to imagine it.
We said y'all can have Conte. We didn't say you can have Lukaku.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Let's get Lukaku to play a little bit first. Score a couple goals for Chelsea. Then we'll talk about him moving to Norwich City. Guys, is back to the bottom of the league, and. But to be honest, they tried, and Timo Pukki had clear-cut chances to actually score, but he didn't take them. But I think I'm actually not sure anymore that Norwich are favorites to go down. I see a lot of teams playing worse than them. I see Watford are okay, but Norwich are not worse than Watford. Maybe they have less points. I see Newcastle are worse. Burnley for sure. It's their worst team than Norwich, to be honest.
Norwich are not Burnley. I'll give you that.
Look, we have an agenda here, Anthony. It's if you're not Burnley, you're good enough to stay in the league.
No, that's fair.
Because it's an anti-football what they do. It's an anti-football. But anyway,
I do have to say though, I don't think you have to be a great team to stay in the Premier League. Burnley has proved that time and time again. And I think though Norwich is playing really good soccer, they concede and they do not score.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that is going to get you kicked out of the Premier League.
Yes.
That's usually how it works.
That's typically how it works.
The burn, yes.
I mean, okay, did you see Timo Pukki blast one across the box in the 6-yard box and someone just skies it? Like, you're getting paid money to do this. To me, when you're missing those types of chances, this team's not staying up.
It's a championship squad. It's clearly a championship squad.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's a championship squad without a Premier League manager. The difference between Leeds, when they came to the Premier League, they were a championship side, but with a top-notch manager that took them to the next level in the Premier League in Marcelo Bielsa. And that's totally different than having Daniel Farke on the side. Now, Dean Smith is good, but he has been good for one season. Aston Villa struggled the season before to stay in the league. We remember that Trezeguet goal against Arsenal that kept them in the league. But Dean Smith, Dean Smith is not a Premier League coach. He's not. I don't see him good enough. But anyway, we're gonna move on to a Premier League coach for sure because he won 3 out of 4. He transformed his team. Steven Gerrard, Stevie, Aston Villa 2. Leicester City falling apart 1 with all the signing they made in the summer with Brendan Rodgers linked to United, but 3 wins out of 4, top half of the league. Can someone tell me a little bit about Steven Gerrard and how he transformed? Is it okay? Now I think we're past new manager syndrome.
Yeah.
They are doing really, really well. Jackson, Steven Gerrard doing his team right. Selection is right. Everything is working out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's doing great. For me, I just watching them, just what I've seen, it looks like the players individually are more focused on working as a team, and I think the organization is better. So I think everyone's kind of, even though he's only been there for a little bit, everyone's already kind of, I think, buying into what Gerrard is telling them. They know what their job is, and they want to do it, and it's already getting results, and I think, which is going to be huge, I think, for Aston Villa this season, because if you get a new manager and right out of the gates you start winning and you get those results, you're like, okay, like this guy can help us, he can save us, he can make me a better player, so I'm going to work for him. Like, if that makes any sense, they're just going to buy into Gerrard completely. So I think he's doing a great job, and I'm honestly happy for him. As I think everyone would be.
Do you think sacking Dean Smith was the right decision then?
I was a little skeptical at first, but just given these results right now, I think it'd be hard to argue against it, right? I mean, I think so.
What is happening at Leicester, guys? What is happening at Leicester? Someone tell me what is happening.
I think they're a bit unlucky in this game, if I'm being honest. I think they created a few really good opportunities. I mean, this game could have easily been 2-2, 3-2. They just need to be putting away the chances that they get. You know what I mean? Like, you can't expect Harvey Barnes' one amazing goal to be the only thing you score in a game against Aston Villa. But I think they played relatively well. I mean, I think every time I've seen them, they've played pretty decently. It's just they tend to break down defensively, and they're not finishing the chances that they should be putting away.
I think they really enjoy playing in the Europa League. They really enjoy it. They look so positive because they're still so fresh to the European competition. Still, some of these players, they played really well against what's the name, Legia Warsaw, in their last game when they beat them 3-1. That's not an easy team to play against. It's a lot easier to go to Poland and play them, I'll tell you that much. But because their fans are very nice people. But Leicester's, I reckon they just look a lot better in the Europa League, maybe because they're top of their group. Maybe they've got one eye on them. I'm not too sure, but they need to be better under Rodgers. But
they're not lacking quality, Anthony. That's the problem. They're not lacking quality on paper. This is one of the best squads in the Premier League. They should be doing better than where they are right now. They are below Aston Villa. They're below a lot of teams that are on paper. They're supposed to be worse than them. But anyway, I hope they get better. I hope Brendan Rodgers get it together, because he is now in the talks of getting sacked. And that is something you can actually bet on him getting sacked, which is, I know it blows some people's minds, but they're not doing well. So what do you do with this squad? You invest. Your manager is not doing great. He's out of ideas. Sack him and get the next one. Maybe he'll do better. And we have someone available now, which is Ollie is available.
Mo, you have me worried right now. I'm going to be honest, because a couple of weeks ago you were all distraught about Dean Smith getting sacked. Now you're all for sacking.
I like this game, man. I like this game. Ollie gets sacked. Michael Carrick comes in, wins to tie with Chelsea, set it up for Rangnick. Dean Smith is sacked. Steven Gerrard comes in, 3 wins out of 4. The next one is Eddie Howe gets his first win with Newcastle against Sean Dyche. Mm-hmm. Even though the goal was kind of a scramble, if you guys watched the goal, and they asked for a foul. I don't think it was a foul. Pope is the one that hit the Newcastle player. But again, actually, it was good to see Newcastle fans happy. I know a lot of people, they don't like Newcastle fans, but I think they're very loyal to the team, to be honest. They keep showing up, even though they're not performing, and they don't like the previous owner, Mike Ashley. So, guys, Newcastle winning. They are out of the bottom. They're ahead of Norwich, I think, in goal differential. I think they actually played really well. Joelinton played really, really well. Callum Wilson played really well as well. I think Burnley were doing a Burnley thing, playing long balls from the first minute until the last minute. But Newcastle, they played better than them, and they won. Better team won. Anybody have anything to add about this game other than It is Newcastle's first
Joe
win.
Linton. I just don't understand. Like, where has this player been? You look like an entirely different player. Because every time I've seen him on the field, I've been like, why is he here? I guess he's big. But, I mean, he was incredible. Like, on the ball, he was able to dribble out of tight situations. He was able to move it really well. He made great runs. I've never seen this guy play like this. And if Eddie Howe can make players like that play at that high, of like much higher of a level than how they've been performing, I think Newcastle is going to stay up.
Anthony, is this the season where Burnley are gonna be found out and that's it for them, or do you think it's savable for them? Because I haven't seen any improvement over the season, to be honest. 15 games in.
I don't know, man. Like your Burnleys and your Watfords and your Norwiches. Let's just once again wait for the maths to take effect. Like you're looking at the ladder, it's a perfect sequential down step to all of the objective teams. I really think like post January, where the fatigue sets in, the injury sets in, it's going to be rough. But I can foresee one of those deadline days where you watch it back because there's like the ladders shifting every 5 minutes or so. For Newcastle, just thank God they got that first win, man, because then if they didn't get it in this round, it probably would not have come at all season. And there would have been a really, really big problem on their hands. But this is just the kickstart for them. 3 points in the relegation zone is like 9 points at the top of the league, honestly, because that's the difference it can make. And they'll just progress from here on in. I expect to see them around maybe 13th, 14th by January, February, and then they can go from there.
Wow. Southampton, Brighton. Guys, Brighton has not won in 10 games. It's kind of strange. They have not won a game in 10 games after the flying start. But you watch them play Brighton and you think that this team can achieve something. This team can do things. They reach the goal. They create chances. They do stuff, but they just don't score. It's kind of strange that Graham Potter, people consider him one of the most enjoyable coaches to watch in the league because the way he plays football, but they're not getting a result. I'm not scared that they're gonna drop. I don't think they're gonna drop below like 15th or something, but no wins in 10. They definitely would take this draw with the Mopi goal in the 98th minute. That was actually really, really good to watch, the erupt from their side, but him as well, shushing the fan. It was kind of strange game, but it was a good game. Jackson, Southampton, Hassan Hoto. Is good football enough for you to stay in your position, or Southampton should look for a different manager that will give them results?
I think right now maybe they should just hold out, especially like we said every week now we're talking about like manager turnovers and this and that. Like I think Southampton, for the squad that they have, are performing well. I think, like you said, they're scoring good goals and they're getting some good results. I don't think a new manager change is required, at least not yet. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say on that, but that's my I do like watching Southampton play. Honestly, I think they're fun. I like watching their attacking style, but yeah, I'm just kind of your average Premier League team, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just to jump in on that, I think Southampton just needs a transfer market. I think they got ripped in the summer transfer market. I think I've been saying this every single time we talk about them. You know what I mean? Like you lose Vestergaard, you lose Ings. It's tough. So it's affecting how they play. Obviously they play a good system. They just need to find a couple more key pieces to try to fill in these holes, because Shea Adams isn't going to do it alone up there. That being said, I think some of these smaller players have been playing a lot better recently, and I think they play like really good football. They're definitely going to stay up. I don't think they're in the running to go down right now, but I think they do kind of have the Brighton problem. They're just like not really scoring goals,
Yeah, they're not scoring a lot. Anthony, do you have anything to add about Southampton or Brighton?
No, I'll just have to agree with Kaeman really just on his last point. But I'd say like they're still a part of that crop of teams that once the season goes on, based on injuries and luck, any of those teams that are from 13th, 14th, 15th can be in a relegation fight by the end of the season. All of them on paper, there is still a gulf between some of the sides. I think, Crystal Palace will be the ones that survive there, in my opinion, that I can say that I really think will stay up. But other than them, down from there, and obviously we'd like to think Everton aren't going to spend that much time as that far down, but that's a whole nother mess to talk about. Southampton, not much more to add, man.
Leeds, Brentford, a championship game. It looked like a championship game, and tackles were flying like a championship game, and it was very fast. It was very quick goals. I think one of the commentators said it. I have not seen a game with that much space in the middle. And like for every player to get that ball, they have like 3-4 seconds to do something, which is something that we're not accustomed to in the Premier League. But it was a great game. It was an absolutely great game. Kaeman, Brentford, they're doing okay. Ivan Toney did not play, but they still played great. They scored really 2 good goals. What do you think? Is Brentford are back on track now with the last 2 results, or they're still the curve is still going down?
I mean, I think they're gonna finish kind of like mid-bottom of the table. I think they just had an incredible start. That being said, I think they're doing a great job. I think they were the better team of the night, if I'm being honest. I think, Leeds did well to get a really heartwarming Patrick Bamford off the bench, goal where he knees it to the top bar, right? But that being said, I mean, Brentford was just more dominant, I think, for the most of that game. They did a good job, what they always do, being able to take advantage of people being out of shape defensively and just committing higher numbers. I think they're fine to stay up. I think Leeds should probably be a little bit more worried, given the fact that they just keep conceding goals over and over again against every single team they play against. And, Bamford coming on and scoring a goal is a good sign, but it shows how lacking they are offensively if something happened to like Rafinha, right? Because Ayling was back for this game too, so they were out without Ayling and they were without Bamford. So if they can stay healthy with Rafinha, I think they're in a good spot. But like you lose those 3 players, and I mean you saw how they've been doing. They just don't have any creative juice without them.
Okay, so we're recording this before the Everton Arsenal game that is played on Monday. I want to get everybody's prediction for that game. And is Everton ever going to get a win again? Are they ever going to win in the Premier League again? Is that something that we need to ask? Like, it doesn't look like they're going to win ever again. Anthony, what do you think is going to happen in this game? Is Everton gonna do the Everton and then just not have a 0-0 game or a 1-1 game or something like this, or they're just going to lose? Or
Kaeman, I'm so sorry, man. Wouldn't it be the most Arsenal thing in the world just to have Everton grab 3 points here? It sounds like easy money to me, man. But before that, like I think, but I think they're. I don't think they can get the job done, even by making a little bit of an Arsenal joke there. I think Arsenal's going to run riot on them. To be honest, I don't think that these Everton players have got their head. I'll definitely take Richarlison at Inter if he wants to move on. But honestly, this is really bad at the moment for Benitez. I saw the footage of. Was it their owners and their directors that were walking out of the stadium and the abuse was being held at them? Yeah, that's ugly, man. That doesn't happen in the Serie A very often, if at all. The ultras usually wait and design a nice big banner and put it outside the team's stadium. But to hear that vocally being shouted at, like that's really the bottom of the barrel with a club when you can see that sort of hostility between board, management, and fans. So in my opinion, it's not going to get any better. I'll go Arsenal 3-1 comfortably.
Kaeman?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a must-win game for Arsenal. I really would have thought that, like the Man U game is obviously a tricky one. Like especially, it's always hard to beat Man U at Old Trafford. But this game, with how poor form Everton's been in, Arsenal needs to win this game. I think if we don't win this game, we're not in contention for top 4. And I think that's that's pretty much all I have to say in regards to that. But I do think Arsenal has the personnel to win this game. Jacques is a freak of nature, and apparently he's already being considered to be full match fitness and being able to potentially play in this game. Say what you will about that player. That is an incredible turnaround for the knee injury that he had. So, I'm excited, especially with how well we've done without having, one of the most senior members in the center of the park. So it'll be interesting to see. I think this is a game we win comfortably, but I don't think it's going to be like a high-scoring game. I really think this is going to be like the classic, what we've done, 1-0, and then park the bus like we shouldn't be.
Jackson, any last words about this game?
I think it's a big game for both. Kind of like the last two guys said, I think Arsenal's going to win it easily. I think it might have a bit of a slow start where Arsenal's just kind of, holding all the possession, pinning Everton back. I think Saka's going to have a lot of fun out on the wing, and I'm going to go 2-0 to Arsenal. I don't see Everton scoring.
Well, I'm glad to see that y'all have more faith than I do. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's an Arsenal fan.
I'm sorry. I apologize. We ran longer than expected. We got a lot of Man United talk, Liverpool and City talk, but it was great. It was fun. It was really fun to have Anthony here as a United supporter, and after the one under Rangnick. I want to thank all my guests. Thanks you, Anthony, for coming on.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Jackson and Kaeman. Thank you, Mo. It was very fun.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, Kaeman. Thank you guys for coming on, as always.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
hopefully from all of us here at Football Worldwide, we thank you all. And please like our video and subscribe. Rate us on any audio platform if you're listening. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.